Hey guys, it is Kevin coming to you from Penang, Malaysia. Today I'm heading to the Penang Catholic Cemetery. Why am I going to a Catholic cemetery? Cemeteries often are places that have a lot of amazing history, and this is the place here in Penang, Malaysia, that was known for the burial grounds of Eurasian residents. So people of European descent, of Russian descent in different countries, and there's a lot of fascinating history I hear in this place. So I'm going to go check it out and share with you. So this is located on Kelawai Road, and it is this location. The cemetery was moved here in 1890 apparently, and a lot of kind of the original European residents of Penang are buried here. And basically when a lot of Europeans and British colonists came here in the late 1700s, 1800s, a lot of people, a lot of children died of tropical diseases and other things. So I learned from my father years ago, who was a historian in Canada, that cemeteries can teach us a lot about history. So this is called the Kelawai Road Catholic Cemetery, and it was, right now it's located on Kelawai Road, and this over here is the Gurney Plaza Shopping Mall, and over here is the Gurney Paragon Shopping Mall. Well, there's a lot of newer stones here, a lot of really older historical ones. And there are some other Catholic and Christian cemeteries on the island. But this one is, again, kind of near where I live. And if anything I've learned, my father used to travel around and you know, he was a historian, and you know, he was an official one for the government, but also an amateur historian in many ways too. And he always talked about how in local areas we could learn so much about an area from cemeteries, and there were always so many fascinating stories. And if you take the time to stop and kind of look at some of the gravestones, and you kind of wonder, here's Irene Richards, born in 1900, died in 1911, so she was only 11 years old here. So again, I heard that a lot of the British who were here were plantation managers and workers, and they came with their families, and a lot of children died of things like typhoid and malaria, a lot of the kind of diseases you find in the tropics. Here's one sacred to the memory of Inspector Daniel Taylor, late CR Sergeant, maybe 74th Highlanders, who died in Penang on the 27th of February 1883. This tablet is erected by his brother officers. Fascinating colonial history here. Here's a really fascinating one. It's really hard to read. It's just something in loving memory of George F. Williams, who was killed by bandits in Perilous on New Year's Day. Born 22nd, maybe August 1903. That's an interesting story. Killed by bandits. So, you know, the Christian and Catholic population of a place like Penang historically is quite small. It was a British colony at one point, but now predominantly, of course, the population is either Muslim, the ethnic Malay, or Hindu, or Chinese. So there's a lot of Buddhist and Taoist temples around. Yeah, so it's, again, I've been interested, and the reason I see the cemetery from the main road because I often go shopping at that shopping mall right there. So I was just very curious. I was raised Catholic, and I guess with like the historical aspect of, again, my father often taking me to graveyards as a kid, although it might seem morbid, now that I'm older and appreciate the concept of collecting stories of people and personal narratives, collecting histories, I kind of understand his logic and fascination with it. And again, if you spend time looking at at gravestones, you know, sometimes you can see some interesting stories. For example, that person who was killed by bandits. Like, what happened there? What did that mean? There's a lot of soldiers who were killed here, of course, you know, during what they call the emergency between 1948 and I think into the 50s. There was the Battle of Penang in 1914 when a German warship steamed into Penang harbor and sank a Russian warship and a French warship. And lots of other things have happened over the years. So there we go. It's fascinating. So there we go. A little walk into a cemetery. I think that's my first video in a cemetery. And yeah, hope you found it interesting, because it is interesting to really think about history. So there we go. The Church of the Immaculate Conception, Penang, 1811 Catholic Cemetery, Kalawai Road. Well, that was a very fascinating little visit. Hope you guys found that an interesting video, something a little bit different. But as I'm learning about my new home for now here in Penang, Malaysia, I want to share more of it with you. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Check all the links below. Again, also, I have a podcast all about life in Asia. The link is below. It's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all those places. Go check it out. Give it a listen, subscribe. I would appreciate that. All right, see you later, guys.